All Hallows Eve, the evening your nightmares come to life, all the creatures of the night come out to play. It's time to pay tribute to this terrifying month, so join us as we celebrate the sinister season. This is the Venom month of horrors.
Hello and welcome to the Venom month of horrors. 31 days of pure terror in video form. And let's talk more about Stephen King. I've covered his work previously and will again in the future, but I will say he's very hit and miss. He's created some of the greatest stories in horror history, but then he's created some of the worst. Sometimes he gives us terrifying tales, and other times they're hilariously lame. And then sometimes there's underrated and forgotten little gems. King was teaching at university in the late 70s when he lived near a busy road that took the lives of many pets that belonged to children in the neighbourhood, thus creating a pet cemetery for them nearby, including King's own daughter losing a cat and even his own son himself nearly being hit. So this film is almost semi-biographical, imagine that. Uh-oh. Originally, he wrote the novel but felt he went too far and completely discarded it. He and his wife both found the story just far too dark and unenjoyable, though he confessed it was the only book he's ever written that truly scared him. But despite not liking it, he needed one last novel for his contract and was forced to submit it anyway, gaining critical acclaim leading to the film beginning production. The thing is, I guess because of his disliking of the story, King actually refused to let people make an adaptation for a while before finally selling the rights to George Romero in 1984. Unfortunately, he had to pull out to work on Monkey Shines, leaving the film to Paramount. Weirdly, despite King and his wife finding the story too dark, the film was considered too tame, and the ending was reshot to be more graphic, with other scenes being trimmed as it was considered too long a picture. It gained generally mixed reviews, some claiming it was scary, others calling it a cliched piece of crap. Not only did it spawn a sequel 3 years later, as well as gaining a decent sized cult following, but a documentary about the feature was premiered in September of 2014. The independent film channel ranked it as the 16th greatest Stephen King adaptation, and there were even rumours of a remake in 2011. Juan Carlos Fresnadillo was announced as the director in 2013, but then in 2017, the makers of It claimed that they hoped to produce it after they finished with part 2 of that saga. But unlike the likes of The Shining, this was actually the first ever screenplay produced for a film by Stephen King himself. Now he has no excuse and he has no Kubrick to blame if this one bombs. But is it really as great and scary as we all remember? Or is it just a cliched piece of crap after all? Well, let's take a look at Pet Sematary.
Great.
So we open with a family called the Creeds moving from Chicago into a new house. The dad, Lewis, played by Dale Midkiff, is the new local doctor there, with his wife, Rachel, played by Denise Crosby, and their daughter, Ellie, played by Blaise Badal, and their son, Gage, played by Miko Hughes, who actually grew up to star in Kindergarten Cop, Spawn, and Wes Craven's New Nightmare. No, seriously. Good for him.
So... what do you think?
Perfect house to kill you in with the help of our possessed zombie son. What? Nothing. So we instantly get our first crisis of the movie when Ellie falls off of a tire swing that is about a foot off the ground. And this is such a crisis, both parents completely ignore their 2-year-old to rush over.
Gage!
Oh yeah, our other kid, maybe we should care about that one. But no need to worry, Grandpa Monster is there to save him.
There's a path over there. Do you know where it goes?
Oh. Yeah, that's a good story. A good walk. I'll take you up there sometime. Tell you the story, too. After you get settled in.
Wow, they really have my interest here. I can't wait to hear this story. Oh, I'm really intrigued, and Stephen King never lets his audience down after hyping it up. By the way, this is Judd, played by Fred Gwynn, their neighbour. Anyway, that night, Lewis gets a bit of a scare. Wow, what a pussy. Before we hear the riveting climax to Judd's excellent story.
You know that path your wife commented on? That road, and those Orinco trucks, the 2 main reasons is there.
Well, where does it lead?
Pet Cemetery.
That's not a story. All of that build-up, that intriguing delivery and everything made you think, oh my god, this is going to be awesome, and then it's just Pet Cemetery. Just dead animals there, that's it. What a letdown.
Not at all.
They also bump into a woman called Missy.
You mean Mom?
And it's never really explained who she is. A relative, a friend, a crazy neighbor who just invites herself in. Wikipedia doesn't even list her in any of the plot, despite having really dramatic moments later. She was vital to the story.
Always thought it would be lucky to marry a doctor. Wish I had a doctor around with my stomach pain so bad. Guess I'll never be lucky. Hell, I ain't married anyone.
And she's a ray of sunshine as well. So Judd takes them to the pet cemetery, never explaining why it's spelled wrong.
It says Pet Cemetery, honey. It's misspelled, but that's what it says.
I mean, I guess kids put up the sign, but why has nobody replaced it? It would drive me insane. And is this really what they consider a charming family outing? Taking your kids to see the graves of dead animals? Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Judd and I'm going to traumatize your children.
Daddy, what if Church dies?
Oh look, she's worried about her cat Church's death. Who would have seen that coming after taking her to a goddamn pet cemetery?
He's not God's cat, he's my cat. But God gets on if he wants one. Not mine. Not mine.
What? I would do a whole I'm acting thing here, but I have no idea what she just said.
I'm sorry.
So they all begin their first days in this new place, and immediately Lewis gets a patient with his head busted open. Well, at least now he has a fighting chance of liking boyhood.
The soil of a man's heart is stonier, Lewis.
How did you know my name?
I read the book. By the way, how does he know his name? It's never explained.
You keep saying that.
And then the very next day, it took the film just 20 minutes to completely rip off an American Werewolf in London with the zombie guy appearing as a ghost for some comedy value.
We've got places to go.
So he shows him the cemetery again, for some reason, before leaving quite a threatening warning.
No matter how much you may feel you have to, do not go on to the place where the dead walk.
Why would you show him then? Surely if you don't want somebody to go somewhere, you just wouldn't show them. I mean, he didn't even know that place existed. But it doesn't matter because he wakes up the next morning and it was all a dream. Or was it? Because his feet are covered in dirt. But then, how'd he get home? But then, who gives a shit?
I can't remember.
So Rachel takes the kids back to Chicago for Thanksgiving while Lewis stays behind for work before Judd calls him about his daughter's cat who's been trucked to death.
You gonna tell Ellie?
Well, I'll have to mull that over for a while. Maybe when they call, I'll just tell her I haven't seen the damn cat around, you know? I don't want to spoil her holiday. And Rachel's.
Maybe. There's a better way.
Bury it on a historical ancient Indian burial ground so it can resurrect as a zombie cat and eat your daughter's face. Just a thought. The thing is, Judd later reveals that he knows what's going to happen and yet he still encourages this. There is no reason other than he's a creepy, weird old man who enjoys people being killed.
I brought you here to bury Ellen's cat.
Why, for God's sake? I said why, Judd?
I had my reasons.
I get my kicks feeding my neighbors to zombies. You have your hobbies and I have mine.
Lewis,
Yeah.
when you talk to him, not one word about what we done tonight.
She wouldn't understand, Lewis.
What did we do tonight, Judd?
What we did, Lois, was a secret thing.
No one will understand. Just keep it between me and you, Lewis. So he talks to his daughter on the phone before Gage gets on the line.
Hi, Daddy, I love you. Hi, Daddy, I love you.
I don't get it. He just stares all evil and ignores his son. What's going on? He spoke to his daughter completely fine. Did we miss a scene? Acting! Anyway, Judd talks to Lewis and tells him of a story of when he was young and his dog tragically died. He buried it on the burial ground before it came back wrong, demonic and evil. So why the hell did you send him to go and do the same stuff with his daughter's cat?
I think I did it because your daughter ain't ready for her favorite pet to die.
First of all, it's her only pet, not her favourite. Second of all, I wanted the cat to eat your daughter's head to save her some grief. What? That's not an excuse. What?
Has anyone ever buried a person up there?
Christ on his throne, no. Whoever would?
Yeah, that'd be silly, but burying a cat to come back and eat children? That's perfectly sane.
I had my reasons.
But Judd isn't the only one to blame here. See, Lewis is attacked by the cat and he doesn't kill it. He knows it's a zombie undead cat thing that's come back evil and he still keeps it around and lets his daughter have it. What the hell is wrong with these people?
Hi, sugar! Come here.
Hi, Daddy.
Dude, why is Lewis such a dick to Gage? I mean, he abandons him at the start, he ignores him on the phone, he ignores him here when he says hello, but yeah, he's great with his daughter. Except for the zombie cat thing.
I dreamed he got hit by a car and you and Mr. Crandall buried him in the pet cemetery.
That was a silly dream, wasn't it?
Is he really alright?
Yes, honey, I'm a terrible father, so church is fine, I promise. But this film isn't nearly depressing enough, so we better cut back to that random unknown Missy girl hanging herself. Why? What struggles was she going through in her life for her to do this? How did she know the Creed family? How does this in any way connect to the rest of the film?
Just a loon, that's all.
So after a brief Stephen King cameo for the story he apparently doesn't even like, we cut back to more banter with Lewis and Judd.
How's your cat, Lois?
It's Ellie's cat.
No. It's your cat now.
Well, if it's Lewis's cat now, that just completely eradicates your whole reason for doing this. You said you told him to go and bury the cat because it was for his daughter, but now you're saying the cat belongs to him. But you know what? We don't have nearly enough pointless subplots, so how about a random backstory of Rachel's sister dying in the back of the house with a hunchback kept hidden away as a reclusive, dirty secret?
We wanted her to die. We wished for her to be dead. It wasn't just so she wouldn't feel any more pain. It was so we wouldn't feel any more pain.
Wow. I hope you die.
Thank you.
Much like the Missy stuff, this connects to nothing. No part of the film is linked to this subplot whatsoever. It is entirely pointless. I mean, is it to show they don't like death? Because, well, no shit.
They thought I was crying. But you know something? I think maybe I was laughing.
Yeah, I really hope you die and then I'll be laughing, you sick fuck.
Yep.
So they all decide to have a relaxing picnic as Lewis flies a kite with Gage. You know, I never got the enjoyment out of flying a kite. Oh, look. Look how much fun I'm having. It's in the sky. Anyway, Gage, who admittedly is fucking adorable, runs off because these parents have a tendency to completely neglect their goddamn kids before... Jesus! I was horrible to him for the entire movie, but now I care. No!
I'm gonna carry this picture, Mr. Crandall, until God lets Gage come back.
Ellie, God doesn't do things like that.
He can if he wants to.
She's got a point. Why doesn't he?
I told her when you were first married, you'll have all the grief you can stand and more, I said. And now look at this. I hope you rot in hell! Where were you when he was playing in the road?
He's got a point. I'm on his side. So he fights Lewis over this at Gage's funeral, even knocking his coffin over. Jesus, this film has a lot of balls.
Fuck off, hairball.
Well, maybe if you killed the little shit instead of letting it play with your child, maybe it would. Amazingly, Judd actually takes the entire blame for Gage's death. Yeah, he for some reason thinks if he didn't show Lewis the burial ground or the cemetery, I'm not sure which, then Gage wouldn't have been hit by the truck. So this literally makes no sense. This is an entire plot point that just makes no sense. No, Judd, you're the reason his cat came back as a zombie, but why would you showing him the cemetery be the reason his son got hit by a truck? Where's the connection?
Do you believe that?
So Lewis starts to consider burying his son on the same grounds before Judd reveals a person actually did do this before and they came back as a killer.
What's the bottom of the truth?
Well, sometimes dead is better.
That's actually an awesome quote. Too bad they use it about 3 times in the span of a minute.
Lewis, sometimes dead is better. The Indians knew that. They stopped using that burial ground when the ground went sour. Don't think about doing it, Lewis. The place gets holier, but the place is evil. Sometimes dead is better.
We get it, you killed it now. My question remains, if you knew people come back like this and animals, why the hell did you encourage Lewis to bury his little girl's pet there, you loony?
I had my reasons.
I'm saying the place might have made kids die because I introduced you to the power. I may have murdered your son, Louis.
How? Where's the connection? I don't get it. Yeah, I showed you the cemetery. That's exactly why your son ran in the middle of the road, because you weren't looking. Where's the link here? Tell me!
Well, I feel like I'm going crazy.
So Lewis again remains home as his wife and daughter return to Chicago. Have you noticed that Lewis just holds the exact same facial expression for the entire movie? Anyway, he still insists on bringing his son back.
If he comes back, and he's like Judd said Timmy Venom was, I'll just put him back to sleep.
Oh, you mean like you did with the cat? Oh, wait. In fact, there is no reason for him to believe that he won't come back wrong. He knows he will. This entire thing makes no sense. I mean, I know he's grieving, but this is just stupid. Anyway, his daughter starts to see the future and ghosts or something, and somehow knows that stuff's about to go down. A psychic kid in a Stephen King story. Well, that's new. Also, never explained. And then the zombie ghost guy appears to his wife. How? Why? Who gives a shit? Oh no, Lewis. Anything Creed related should remain dead and buried.
I'll tell him to call you.
Don't bother, Judd. I'm coming home.
Rachel, now. You don't want to do that.
I have to do it, Judd. Goodbye.
Rachel! Rachel!
Rachel! Rachel! Rachel!
Anyway, Rachel starts to panic and makes her way home before having weird visions about her sister. But this is, again, completely pointless. I mean, she says her and Gage are gonna kill her for letting them both die. I mean, only part of that is true, but she has nothing to do with the overall narrative, and this just seems like a forced way to make Rachel's character seem more important than she actually is. Oh, and they're still ripping off American Werewolf in London. Awesome.
Make it wait. I can't. All right, I'll call the pilot.
Oh, that was easy. So Rachel tries to get another flight home, but they're all booked up until the zombie uses the Force or something to make the staff member get her a ticket anyway? Sure.
She knew it was an abomination.
So Lewis returns to the burial ground with Gage's body, as he also has some weird visions because, oh, who was questioning anything at this point? King is the boss of weird shit for the sake of weird shit. Well, Rachel drives home and completely rips off Psycho, and I mean shot for shot and even music, this is Psycho.
Yes, Mr. Lowry?
Carolyn? Mine still isn't in?
Now what?
It's trying to stop you. Do you hear me? It's trying to stop you.
What is? What is? Tell me, what is? This is supposed to be zombies, not ghosts.
Just imagination.
So she finally gets a lift home, but it is far too late.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
To be fair, the tension is built really well, just showing Gage's shadow before he visits Judd first. No idea why. Why does he go after Judd? In fact, shouldn't he be thanking Judd? If not for him, he wouldn't be able to come back in the first place!
It's not right.
So Judd begins searching for him, and it's actually quite eerie and well done. This is when the film gets genuinely scary.
Gage?
Oh no, I wouldn't engage in a confrontation with him. Nah? Yeah? The Venomonth of puns. The Venopunth.
Yeah!
So Gage cuts through his heel. Ah! That's worse than...
They lose their noses.
Damn it. But then it's ruined when the kid tries to growl and look scary, and it looks adorable and kinda hilarious. Anyway, he cuts his mouth open before giving him a hickey? Well, this was scary for a few seconds.
Thank you so much.
In fact, don't you think this was a big missed opportunity? I mean, you've got a zombie toddler and a zombie cat. How fucking awesome would it have been if they just fought it out? Maybe they had limitations with special effects, but damn, that would have been amazing. I'd demand to see that in the remake.
How can you call it a good thing?
So the zombie guy leaves Rachel, and it's never actually explained if she can or can't see him. I mean, she doesn't freak out, but no one in this movie really reacts to much, so I'm completely lost. Anyway, she hears her name being called, and much like any horror movie, decides to follow it. Yeah, she hears her sister and her son calling her and heads right in.
I'm going to twist your back like mine, so you'll never get out of bed again.
Can you find a purpose for your scenes to be in this film instead? That would be much more scary. And then we cut to... Oh my god, what is this? Mary Poppins got shrunk in the wash. You really had a scary premise going on there for a bit, Stephen King. What the hell are you doing? To its credit, when Rachel sees him alive, it is quite emotional, but she gets killed off anyway. Meanwhile, Lewis wakes up the next day with a start. Ow! Now I have to act more than one emotion. Wait, so did Gage just kill his mum and Judd and then kick back and chill, waiting patiently for the morning? Anyway, Lewis gets a phone call from Rachel's parents claiming his daughter is having dreams that her mum is dead. How does she see any of that? Oh, fuck it, let's move on.
First I played with Dad, then Mommy came, and I played with Mommy. We played, Daddy. We had an awful good time. Now I want to play with you.
Okay, that is horrifying. Honestly, this is absolutely terrifying, and his acting is incredible. They finally got it right.
What did you do?
You mean zombies are bad? So it took him this long to realise that zombie cats aren't really a nice pet for his small child and finally kills it. Better late than never, I guess. So he heads to Marilyn Manson's house for the final showdown.
All right, Gage. Let's play.
I knew you wouldn't come back normal, so it's my own fault because I'm a dumbass, but let's play. He comes across Judd's body, which Gage quite politely and neatly covered with a blanket for some reason, before Rachel's body even falls from the attic. How did a 2-year-old even get her body up there? I mean, I know he's a zombie, but come on.
Well, I'll take it under advisement.
And Gage actually laughs. It's a really evil one too, which is terrifying until he dives down, which looks fucking hilarious. And then he bites his nipple. God damn it, will you just have a scary scene and stick with it? Stop with these weird, creepy fetish fantasies of yours.
Oh, thank you.
And right here, this is beautifully done. Lewis calls his son over and has flashbacks to him being alive before having to stick him with a syringe to kill him once and for all. I mean, it's never explained what's actually in these syringes that somehow kill zombies, but who cares?
It'll pass. They always do.
It's really emotional, which is backed up by some amazing acting by the guy. Seriously, other than Gage's pathetic growling, which still sounds stupid, this is perfect and definitely will not be ruined by anything.
No fair.
Well, at least he and his daughter have each other now. They can get through this entire ordeal as a team, using each other's strengths, and nothing else will go wrong to ruin their unity. He sets the house on fire because it's a Stephen King story, so there always has to be a house set on fire.
I'm sorry, Lewis. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, acting. I'm so acting.
Don't!
I waited too long with Gage. With Rachel, it will work this time. Because she just died. She just died a little while ago.
What? What? Are you fucking kidding me? Okay, first of all, she only died a little while ago. There has not been any indication whatsoever that time plays a factor. Secondly, how does he know when she died anyway? Thirdly, you just had to fight your goddamn son to the death because of a resurrection, and you're gonna do all of that again with your wife, a grown adult who's obviously gonna be a lot more dangerous? Fourthly, what about your daughter, you asshole? She's just lost a brother and mother. You're all she's got left in this world, and you're gonna risk your entire life with this bullshit? Go to hell, you fucking waste of space. You are scum. There's grief, and then there's being a complete selfish fucking idiot.
You came back wrong.
And that's it! A cliffhanger ending that's never touched upon in the sequel. And are we just going to ignore the fact that he made out with a goddamn zombie? And that was Pet Sematary. How is it? Actually not bad. I mean, not a lot of it makes sense, but it does have really creepy moments. The acting performances are solid, sometimes bland, but sometimes really good. It's a very hit and miss movie, but when it hits, it's terrifying. But when it misses, it's just silly and frustrating because of stupid character decisions. It's a nice little solid B movie that delivers in some parts and misses in others. But one thing's for certain, at least it's not the sequel. Stephen King's just getting so much abuse this month. Just wait, guys, just wait.